I'd like to talk to you about the Human Adept. Let me go over the skills real fast. Singularity. It's a priming ability. These three down. Increase the impact radius, definitely. The duration, you don't want the duration to be to last a long time because it lasts for 8 seconds, and you don't want that. You want it lasting longer. You want it to be cast and cast over and over and over again. And the recharge speed on this is fairly quick. So, the impact radius is good. It captures more enemies, groups. Maybe you throw it in the wrong spot, or a phantom jumps out of the way. Strip the shields off a phantom, and it jumps out of the way, and then it lands within that 35% more radius. So the radius is good. It picks the phantom right off the ground and disables it. Disables the phantom. So now next, inflict damage to lifted targets. This one is completely optional. This one's up to you. I personally like to go recharge speed because it drops this down by a little bit, and makes it so that I can use this skill very quickly. The lifted damage to inflicted targets, or etc. This will hurt husks and things like that. So this one is optional. It's up to you whether it feels good or not. It's completely playstyle oriented. The next one, detonate singularity when the field dies. That's why you want the duration to be short. One of the many reasons. So, pretty much any enemy should be dead within 8 game seconds. There is a difference between real seconds and game seconds. The game seconds go much faster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's fast, a little faster than regular seconds. So it's based on lag and latency and things like that. So, but within 8 seconds, any one enemy should be dead. So any more than 8 seconds is a waste. It really is. And in this game, you don't want to waste too much. You don't want to overkill an enemy too much. And you don't want to underkill either, so you want to keep it close. It's a balance between weapons and powers. You should always be spamming your powers. Detonate. Now, because of the rotation, the skill rotation, you're going to be casting Singularity, then Warp, then Shockwave. Singularity, Warp, and Shockwave. Even though you might be in a group where Warp and Shockwave might be the best, like in a group where they're priming with lots of fire, maybe Flamer or Incinerates, still, these are going to be your detonations and most useful skills, but you're going to want that Singularity out there, at least for Phantom control, or Husk control. So it's good to do this type of rotation. Singularity and Warp and Shockwave. Maybe you hit a Praetorian with Singularity, hit it with Warp, hit it with Warp again, and by the time the Singularity runs out, the Warp will have the enemy already primed for the detonation of the Singularity, and that will basically take Praetorian down and almost kill it, if not kill it. And the Shockwave is always nice, so it's a follow-up. And that's another Husk control. So let's look at Warp. 1, 2, 3. Down for the extra force and damage. Out of all the skills that increase force, you'll find that it doesn't really affect Warp at all. I mean, it does, but the force and damage of impact of combo detonations, nice. It's a nice thing compared to what damage? Well, really, we want the detonations out of Warp. So let's move on to Expose. Very useful. Increases the weapon damage and the power damage of that target for 10 seconds, on top of the duration. That's good. It's really good. And Pierce, always in this. Pretty much Warp on every character should be set up this way. I'd say pretty much because we're not going for damage. It's the effect. when you debuff an enemy with this, it's one of the best debuffs in the entire game. Other players can target that enemy and tear it down very quickly. Weaken enemies' armor and increase the damage to barriers and armor by 50%, so that's huge. And it lasts 10 seconds. Shockwave, 1, 2, 3, and force and damage is what you want. It gets it above 1,000 newtons and allows you to stagger phantoms. And that's what you want. Choose the other one, impact radius. It sounds really good, and in theory it would be really good, but the impact radius is bugged on this character. It does not work. It actually makes it harder to hit your target. And so I would definitely go with force and damage. That's not bugged. This is bugged. Okay. Rank 5, increase force and damage of biotic detonations by 65%. That's kind of a no-brainer. A lot of people, some people might like reach, but I highly recommend detonate. Would not go any other way. This one is up to you. Increased recharge speed by 40%. I like the 40% because it has a very slow animation, and if you can spam this in times of need, then by all means, it's awesome. But suspend targets in the air. Well, on gold and platinum, you can't suspend the bosses. They can't be lifted in the air. The only enemies you're going to be lifting are enemies that you've drained the shields or drained the barriers off the enemies, and all that's left is the life or husks. You can't lift bosses, so it's obvious to me that recharge speed is the best way to go. And if we look at the force, it's very high. The damage is high. And that's good. We're going to move on. And you can stagger atlases with that. Keep them from shooting their missiles. You'd have to keep spamming shockwave to do it. But alliance training, I go with this, and down. Get that weight capacity down, allowing you to use heavier guns if you choose to, or if you feel that you could use a heavier gun in replace of the weapon that you're using and get more weapon damage out of it. Depends on your game style, your rhythm. Increase the power, damage, and force. This is awesome. Now, would you go with this? No, because most of the guns you're going to be choosing are going to be lighter guns that make you do that allow you to cast your skills more often. And those guns generally will be lighter, and the lighter guns don't do a lot of damage, so a percentage-wise 7.5 is not a lot of damage. With people with sniper rifles and things like that, then yes. But we're more or less a caster. We're going to be using our abilities as much as possible. As we move over, you'll see headshots. No, we're not really worried about that. We can do a lot of damage long range. Power and damage and force. Are we going to get greedy? Do we need that 15? No. We've got enough force in newtons on the warp and shockwave effect. Cast warp, then you shockwave. It's one of the best detonations in the whole game as far as damage goes from biotics. So we really don't need these. And if we keep moving over, increase the weight of all weapons. You want to be a gun-oriented character, which this character class is really not gun-oriented. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't get these last two skills. Increase weapon damage, not a huge percentage. If you can keep your health at 625 and your barrier at 625, that's good. So this, I went down. The idea of getting a recharge on your shields is nice, except for it can be deceiving. So when you take damage and you're waiting for your shield to go up, at least when you don't have this, you know that when your shields do finally go up, it's been about 4 game seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. And yeah, sure, you haven't taken damage during that time and your shields are going up. You know that your shield gate is up. I really wouldn't go for these at all. Some people get rid of this entire area and then max this out, bringing you to 825, 825. I wouldn't do it. Actually, it's better to get that extra gun damage from carrying heavier guns. this weight capacity bonus is very crucial to your gun choices. And if you choose to go with a lighter gun, then you're going to be doing a lot more powers more often. Generally, a recharge speed of 3.33 on warp, on the warp skill, is the maximum you want to go. So if you're choosing a weapon and it gets up to recharge speed of 3.33, you don't want to go any higher than that. You want to keep this skill being able to go off every 3.33 seconds or less. Now don't try and squeeze it out and go with really light weapons. Too light to go to weapons. I'm at 195. It says 200%. You might be going over 200%, which will not be displayed, but it does go over 200%. And you might be wasting, because there is a point at which your powers are not, it's diminishing returns. It doesn't give you as much recharge speed for the bite or the point. So definitely this is good, and that's a good amount of shields. 700, 700, that's fair. 625, 625 is good. So you want to put 3 points in here and go with 5 points here. Actually before 4. But this is a good setup. I would definitely try that. I'm going to be doing some gameplay. What type of weapons? Well, an Acolyte, if you can get used to it, it's more of a utility type gun. Sure, you have to charge it. I made it lighter. I gave it more damage too. You hit an enemy with this, they're going to lose. This gun will do 400 times more of its damage. Shields and barriers. So, what you could do in essence is drain an entire Phantom's shields in one hit with this extra weapon damage bonus added mod. So, you charge it, hit a Phantom, your shields are gone, throw your Singularity, and they get lifted in the air, disabling them, and very useful. And for the enemies like Guardians, you're going to have a problem, so putting a piercing on your gun is good. Now, if you choose to go with any of the heavier hitting guns and put piercing on them, then it's all you need. Let's say you choose the Talon. The Talon's very good. It feels like a shotgun. It's more of a close range weapon. It bypasses shield gate, so any damage done to the shields and it goes beyond the shields also goes into the life as well. So if you do 100 damage and their shields are 50 and their life is 60, it'll take away the shields and it'll go into life, leaving them with 10 health. So very good gun. Excellent with headshots, but it does change the way that you play because its fire rate is very low. So there are certain guns I think this one's definitely going to be changing your play style. So you just have to be careful how you play your character with what guns and things like that. So the weapons I would choose would be most likely a Talon only. If you feel like you have to. Seeing that you're not getting grenades, you're not a grenade class, you're a caster type class, you might want the increased rounds magazine because you don't want to be going to the ammo pile constantly on platinum or gold. So this will definitely help. So I would do this. You get the extra damage and so on. And some people might say, well, don't you want this? Increases the power damage. Does not say force. The power damage of your abilities. Well, the only ability that is actually going to be increasing is warp by 42 plus 42 plus 42. You know, that's really not, percentage-wise, that's not much. You need to do that much more. In Singularity, 17 plus 17 plus 17. That much more. It's not a lot. I know it adds up to a lot in the end, so it's completely up to you, but I would not go with it. And on this one, 61, 61, 61. 25. So, I wouldn't go with it. I actually would choose to go with the gun damage so that your gun is doing something. So when things like husks get up in your face and your timing is off, maybe you cast warp on an enemy long range, maybe on a Psycon, and you're waiting for your skill to come back, but there's a husk in your face, you're going to be able to take it out. So I wouldn't go with anything else. If you wanted to, just screw it, go with the lighter. Make it lighter. And you'll see that you get some extra recharge out of it. That's a really good one as well. But in a 4-person group, that might be the way to go, because now your teammates are spread out and you have a little more space to go get ammo. So, moving on. The arc pistol is really good, but when you get into platinum with it, some people find they have a hard time with it. In gold it's fine, in any difficulty, gold or less, but in platinum it's going to be kind of slow. And I know the stats look good, so it's dependent on how you use the arc pistol. So the Talon, the arc pistol, I've even seen people use a Scorpion. But if you're in a group where you are with a Vanguard and you put incendiary rounds on this, now you might not be able to pierce Guardian shields, which is your weakness, but you might not be able to pierce it because you can't put piercing on this weapon. But you definitely want more ammo with this gun almost every time, which means that you're going to want the more damage. And that's about it. You could go with that. Call it good. The main thing is it's priming enemies with that incendiary rounds, allowing you to get a lot more detonations off, or allowing them detonations as well. So that one's a conditional type weapon. Paladin, again, the Paladin is a pretty well-rounded weapon. I personally don't like to use it, but you could put piercing on it. There you go, just that one. You might want more rounds. You might even want some zoom. Completely up to you. More damage. I'm not a fan of this gun at all, but that's just me. I skipped the Eagle. The Acolyte is what I'm using. And it's up to you if you want to use Executioner Pistol as well. But those are the guns I would probably choose. I like the Collector SMG. If you choose not to, you could go with this gun here, the Hurricane. This is a good setup. Or make it lighter altogether and get that extra decimals out of your recharge speeds. That's why I like 195. I can see it. I know I'm guaranteed a certain field. I can detonate all my stuff. And I put the gas scanner. What type of ammunition would you use? Well, depending on the gun, there's nothing wrong with this character to get armor piercing rounds when you don't have piercing. There's nothing wrong with it, should you need it. Like I got piercing here. If you get a heavier gun and you need piercing, go for it. So piercing is conditional. Good. Cryo rounds, let's say you're using the Scorpion. Not a bad idea. Incendiary on that. Skip disruptor rounds altogether, they're going to kill you. You don't want to do that, you'll never detonate anything. I wouldn't choose drill rounds unless If you're on the easier difficulty or something like that, you just want to use them up. No phasic rounds. And warp rounds are always nice. They increase your damage of your skills, and they decrease the armor of your enemies. So let's get into it. I'm just going to jump to bronze, private, and start a game. First, let me both. Excellent.
Take back this location. Hostile forces are advancing. Secure the area.
Okay. This gas scanner allows me a little more spatial awareness. And because I have shockwave, I can shoot through walls with shockwave. So boom. Just like that. Alright. And the skill rotation. Don't be afraid to go slow and take your time. 1, 2, 3. 1. 2. Now watch the ball detonate. Oh, if we're on a harder difficulty, that would have caused a detonation. And I'm just slowly walking. Like a punch. Did a shockwave right there. I kind of chose to go against the rotation, but that's okay. There we go. This is a good position. Stops them from spawning in there. In general, as long as your teammates are here as well. You don't want them spawning over here. So I generally stand over here as well. Now, I'm facing, my back is facing the middle. Away, it's facing away. If they spawn back here and they're shooting me, I can't see. This is a good spot to stand over here. Over there where I was sitting. It's another good spot. Right there. He's primed, even though he's got. Okay. I got caught talking, monologuing here. Harder difficulties that would cause the enemy to get hit. You can prime them and suppress the fire there. Stop them from attacking back. SMGs are pretty good for that. Not as good as assault rifles, but that's okay. This is where I would sit here. A lot of people run down there. They stand by the door as if the door is going to give them something, but no. Stand here, stop them spawning in here. Now you get your face towards the map rather than facing the other way. Alright, hold the enemies over here. Alright, run over here. Jump up there. Nope.
Find them and disable them. Target offline.
Alright. Number number 2. Kind of in the middle of the map, not a good spot. Oh, I'm getting shot from across, and possibly here on this angle. Alright, let's get out of here. And on the other side of the map, that's good. Alright, get them to come to me. And once you know the generalization of how to pull the enemies to you, you want to be out of their field of view, then they'll come to you. Then you can kind of force them to come to you. I don't want to kill him. Keep him on the map. Because otherwise he'll spawn. And possibly spawn somewhere where I don't want him to spawn. Like over here while I'm trying to do this. It's mostly about passivate. Passivate the enemy. Don't kill them. Unless you have to.
Device disabled.
And that one is inside. Okay. Well, I don't want to pull them in a straight line. I want to pull them over here. Why? Is because when they get here, they're going to have to run all the way around to get to me. In a straight line, they'll just sit here and shoot me while I'm inside there. On somewhere else. They can't see me, so they're coming to me. They need to get a little tension there. I'm gonna run past them. And I'm going to go into the center area and take care of it. Just roll on the side of the... There we go. Sideways roll. It's the fastest way down there. And we have it. Out of the way. Use that time limit. Use it up. That's what it's there for. Now plan what you're going to do. Alright. All this works for harder difficulties with whatever weapons you choose to use, get good with. Pull the shield off. Boom. I'll use my acolyte later. I'll use it probably on harder targets. Like atlases or something. Now I'm just kind of knocking them out of the way. See how they dodged it? It's not fun. Grenades in the way, so I don't want to use a warp because I have to get too close. So I'll just shockwave right through the wall. And damage to targets that are lifted. You know, a good third of the enemies on gold and platinum will be non-bosses, so not a bad idea. Plus it does damage. This period. Up to you. Moving along. I'm gonna drain its shields and Guardians. Okay. Kinda hoping it would get the Nemesis, but stagger, run fast. Stagger. He rolled, why staggered? Interesting. Only one out at a time. She'll drain your shields. She'll hide. She'll drain your shields. Taking away shield gate. Just keep doing it. See how that was? Primed her. This blew up because the radius was bigger. It reached out here and it got her. And it detonated her from the warp. So that's why that rotation's so nice. Get that out as soon as you can. Detonate things. And whatever you don't detonate, you reprime them. Stick around corners like that. Oh, I was trying to get this guy. Boom, it just got it, so I didn't have to do anything. It's very nice. I don't want to be caught back here. Alright, moving along. Throw these around corners. Boom. I think it's very fast casting because the character dodged. Stick it right there. Boom. Oop. Oh. Pick up multiple targets at a time. Fast space certain enemies, and then
Enemy forces down to 1. Enemies down. Good shooting. They're down
there we go.
50% capability. Our remote weapon triggers have been disabled. Locate those devices and get them going.
Acknowledged! Move out!
And devices again. Not a problem. This time we might have an analyst.
Target up.
Against armor, shockwave. Boom, take him down. Out of my way. He'll follow me around the entire map. Follow me, follow me. And it acts like a bomb. It'll detonate. Boom. It's annoying what things work best on what things. Really helps. Bomb range. Boom.
We're running out of time. Find that target now.
Stagger. Shockwave. I want to get to that, but I want to pull him this way more than anything. Okay. Alright, let's go get it. Alright. Alright, stick the walls. Excellent. Ah. We don't want that.
Your mission is to power up those targets.
I don't have the damage over time added to lifted targets, and it still does a really good job. The main thing is you're lifting enemies up. Doesn't matter if it's doing damage. I don't like going up stairs too much. Get my head down, there we go.
Your mission is to power up those target green lit.
On harder difficulties that I probably would have gotten taken out there, but that's what your teammates for. Okay, it's fun. Passivate, not destroy. Unless we have to. Over to the right, over to the left. There we go. And it's going to blow up, so...
Your mission is to power up those targets. Targets
Done.
are a go. Nice job.
Plenty of time left. Biotic damage does 200 damage to of its damage to armor and 200 to barriers. Very useful. One of the most damaging combos in the game. Very easy to pull off too. SMGs are really good at draining shields, so that's kind of why I like to use the SMG as my secondary. Okay. The third position I like to hold is this spot here. I did the one at the beginning area, one over there. You can stand anywhere in here, and once you're in it, enemies won't spawn. This gives you a lot of ways out, up here, down here, or through there. If I'm standing over here, enemies are going to come pouring this way, so I just have to watch where I'm at. And take out some of these little guys. Don't let enemies pull you into a circle. Uh-oh, go back here. What's that here? I try not to use any type of metagel. I saw too many opportunities and I jumped in there. Okay. Detonate. Throw again. Now he's primed again. And watch this. Boom. Use that shield gate. Use it up. That's what it's there for. Alright. Oh, wait, are we on 8? Okay. I'll stand here, stop the enemies from spawning there. Don't want them on my back. They're all in here. You can hear them. Oh, phantoms, okay. Lifted you up. Boom. Goodbye. I'm gonna get out of that little circle, or that little room there. It's pretty dangerous. You don't want to stand there too long. That shields got pulled right off. Alright. Why not?
Stay alert. Enemy is regrouping. Here they come.
Acknowledged! Contact!
It's crazy. So nice. I'm gonna take care of these little guys first. They're actually more dangerous than the Atlas. Do I have enough time? Yes, I can turn and run. Okay, well, I'm gonna give the Atlas lots of space to go run and try and catch me. Alright. Oh, that was lag. Just a little bit there.
Enemy forces down close. Good work down there. Stay alert. Enemy is regrouping.
Okay, let's get back over in this little spot. Now, mostly likely will appear down there,
Our signal
over
boosters
there,
established
and
inside or
devices
offline.
again.
Find the targets and get them
The
running.
ones I'm not really wanting.
Come on!
Those phantoms will come out of nowhere. Oh, oh, nope, 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 nope.
Shields down!
You gotta pull them. Usually the first device, it's an easy one. But they're not gonna let me very easily.
Your mission is to power up those targets.
Last here. No. Denied. Now they're all coming around the other way. Go, 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 go. Stop sticking on walls. Go. Thank you. 3 devices.
We're running out of time. Find that target now.
I normally like to be on device number 3 at 3 minutes. That's just my own personal.
Get up.
As long as they don't come down here and up here. Oh, I saw the, there he is. Got plenty of time. Not from her though.
Down!
Half the devices are green lit. Stay
Oh.
out. Squad member in trouble.
Okay. Get my missile out on bronze. Oh, when you got a down here. Look, I've got devices 3 times in a row.
Your mission is to power up those targets. Device online.
I know they're gonna get me in a straight line. Blocking the view off. Try not to use any missiles or obspacts or anything.
Targets online. Good work.
Shields down!
That wasn't timed well. your defense.
Top marks, team.
Okay.
Enemy is still active. Stay alert.
I'm over here at wave 11. Okay. Same concept as the devices. Pull them this way. Take them out. Only if you need to.
Got him!
Keep them back. I'll detonate both of them. Okay, time to get out of here. Alright, I don't want to be here at 1 minute left. I'm going to keep them over there. There we go. Now Alice is really sneaky, so 20 seconds. Alright. Let's run. 10 seconds. Go back up here. 3, 2, 1. Howard's corner. Yay! I like it.